Welcome back to the channel, guys. I've got a very serious topic I want to talk about today. This is why I've got a somber tone in my voice, and I hope you don't see this as a joke in any way. It's 2025. This is not a time for jokes anymore. I've got a football channel, and of course, football channels today are the places where we should be talking about politics and sharing our world views with our audiences. Virtual signaling. It's very important today. So I hope you don't see this as a joke in any way. I'm going to get rid of the bear. Just one moment. I think the bear was ruining the kind of serious tone I was trying to set. So I've removed the bear. Let's get into some world issues. I want to talk about Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine. As if I'm touching these topics. This is a football channel. It annoys me when football and politics gets mixed in. When I'm watching a YouTube video about Ronaldinho or something, I don't want to hear the guy's political opinions on what he thinks is right and wrong with the world. You're overstepping your boundary. Stick to football is something Gary Neville doesn't do enough of. I like Gary Neville when he's talking about football. I don't want to hear how he thinks the UK should run politically. It's overstepping the boundaries, I think. So I'm not doing that. Today, though, I've got a really to me, it's a really fun video. It's a combined 11, and I love these videos where you can compare different players and different eras. So, to me, it's an interesting video. I hope it is for you. What I've done here then is pick two Champions League winning teams that are 20 years apart, the 2002 Champions League winning team and the 2022 Champions League winning team, and we're going to try and build an 11. We're going to use the 22 players that were starting in that game, and we're going to try and pick an 11 that not just, I think, the best 11, but also the 11 that's most likely to win a game. I'm going to add some balance to this. I'm not just picking my 11 favourite players or the 11 best players on the pitch. I'm going to try and build a proper team. So let's get into the video then. Though, you're about to see some visuals in a moment, and all the visuals done by all the production, all the editing is done by yours truly on this channel, and you're going to see in a moment the level of skill involved and the expertise that I have. If there's any reason to subscribe to the channel, it's that. And by the way, I've had a few new subscribers recently, and I don't tend to like to ask for likes or subscribers. I just think it's needy and it's desperate. So, but I want to say thank you for subscribing, because when I see a channel with, I don't know, 1.5 million subscribers and they're trying to get to 2 million, it's like, how many subscribers do you need? But for a channel like mine that's literally like brand new, like every comment, every like is really, is really more motivation to keep going with the channel and making videos. So I really appreciate that. Thanks, and welcome to the few new subscribers that I have. So let's get into it, and look at that. I mean, I spent at least 5 minutes making this. This is the level of expertise I was talking about. We've got Modric here, Raul, Benzema. I mean, Jesus, there's some talent here in both these teams. I mean, no wonder they won the Champions League. There's some generational players here, and this is going to be difficult. I mean, first of all, it's going to be difficult just to pick a formation before we even get into the players, because both the teams play different formations. The eras were different. It's also a little bit unfair when you make these kind of videos for the players that are currently playing, that are in their 20s, because obviously they've not finished their career yet, and the players that have finished their career, they just have a much bigger body of work, and that kind of, in people's minds, it kind of overrides the talent a little bit, because you can say, well, Zidane's won a World Cup, for example. Vinny hasn't. Vinny probably won't at the moment, the way Brazil are going, but if Vinny does, that changes the conversation, you see. So yeah, this is going to be difficult, but we'll start off with the goalkeepers then. Now, as you can see, I've been a bit sneaky here because I have included two goalkeepers. I'm not including the substitutes here, because then the video is just going to get even longer and you don't need to hear my voice that much. So I'm not going to, generally I'm not including the substitutes, but I have made an exception here for the goalkeepers for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a more interesting debate, Courtois against Casillas, than Sanchez is against Courtois, and also because Casillas did come on as a substitute in this game, and he had a really important part to play in the Champions League final win. So I think it's deserving of a mention. And Cesar Sanchez, by the way, or Cesar, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. He was quite an important player for Real Madrid, actually, in this Champions League winning team. I don't know if anyone remembers him too much. He played for us in the early 2000s, and he actually originally came in as a backup to Casillas, but in that season he actually won a starting spot, and Casillas was on the bench for a few months, and it was only because he got injured in that final and Casillas came on and had a fantastic performance that kind of cemented Casillas' legacy. But Cesar stuck around for a good few years after that, being a backup goalkeeper. So, an honourable mention for him. But if we get into the two legends, then really. Now, I don't use that term lightly, by the way. I think it's a bit overused today, the word legend. But these two definitely qualify for having legendary status, I would say, Courtois and Casillas. If you look what Courtois has done in his career, I mean, winning a league with Atletico, getting to a Champions League final, Chelsea, I mean, Chelsea fans hate him for the way he left, and I completely understand that. But I'm pretty sure he helped them win a league, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they can correct me on that. But I think part of the reason why Chelsea fans hated losing him so much was because he was such a quality player and he left for so cheap. If he wasn't such a quality player, I think the hatred for him wouldn't be quite as strong. But when you're losing that good of a player, I think that also feeds into the hate towards him. But I'm picking Casillas here all day long. I have to. Casillas for me, when I was growing up, he was just the best goalkeeper on the planet. I mean, we didn't have a defence back in the day, in the 2000s. It was just Casillas, a few dudes in front of him who would kind of walk around, and then an amazing array of attackers. We were just so focused on attack. So Casillas was constantly having to make last-ditch saves, one-on-one interceptions. If you break down what they're good at, it is quite similar, to be honest. I mean, Courtois has the edge, I would say, obviously aerially. It was Casillas' big weakness in the air. He would constantly, especially towards the end of his career, he'd constantly come out for corners and crosses and flap around and misjudge things. And I mean, Courtois is much taller, so obviously it's much easier for him. But distribution-wise, I think they're quite similar. They both weren't great on the ball. Shot stopping, they're both fantastic at their reflexes and their ability to get down quickly. I think Casillas was a bit better one-on-one, I would say. But Casillas has pulled off some of the most miracle saves that I've ever seen, especially two saves he done against Sevilla. They're two saves that I'll always remember because very rarely do you watch a game and the player shoots the ball and you have time to process that shit that's going in. Damn, we've just conceded. And then the keeper can pull off a save, and you go, how has he done that? I don't know how he's managed to keep that out. You literally had to watch a replay to see how he's done it. And yeah, two of the greatest saves I've ever seen. So I'm picking Casillas here. Okay, so I'm going to try and speed up a little bit now because I realise that's just the goalkeeper's done, and this video is probably going to be about half an hour long if I don't, if I don't stop rambling on. Luckily, though, we can put a few players in here right away. I mean, Roberto Carlos obviously is at left back, and Danny Carvajal is obviously at right back. It's no debate, of course, over Nacho. Michel Salgado, I really liked Michel Salgado. I went to his testimonial game actually in 2009 in the summer. I was a big fan of Salgado. He was a proper old school right back. But Danny Carvajal is the best right back that I've ever seen play for Real Madrid. So the two fullbacks are in. Okay, on to the centre backs now, and we've got to decide what formation we want to play. Do we want to play a back four, a back five? I mean, if you have a look at the players available here, the player profiles, I think a back five would suit them perfectly. I mean, imagine Roberto Carlos in a left wing back role with Hierro playing that kind of hybrid defensive midfielder centre back role, the role that kind of Chouameni's playing at the moment under Xavi Alonso. Hierro, if he was playing today, would be one of the best centre backs around. I mean, he could make it in modern football, no problem. He was so comfortable on the ball. He was great at free kicks. I'm not going to pretend that I saw a lot of him. I saw his last season, I think, in 2003, because I just remember him not being that impressive. I remember him getting beat quite easy. I think he was at the end of his career then, so maybe he'd slow down a bit. But I'm very aware of his legendary status at Real Madrid, and his partnership with Manolo Sanchez in the 90s was one of the best centre-back partnerships in Madrid history. I think we won 5 league titles with those guys. So Hierro, of course, is getting in this team. The question is, who am I going to partner him with? Now, I think it would be a bit of a waste to play a back five. If you have a look at the amount of attacking talent we've got on the pitch here, I've decided I'm going to only pick 2 centre backs here because it'd be a bit of a shame to have to pick 3 centre backs and not get a Zidane or a Vinicius or a Figo into this team here. So I'm going to play a back four. So it has to be Militao. Militao, before his ACL injuries, was one of the best centre. I mean, I thought he was better than Rudiger at the time, and in his first season, he did play more than Rudiger. A Chelsea fan, who's a friend of mine, told me Rudiger's the best centre back in the world, and now I do kind of see where he's coming from because certainly Rudiger has eclipsed Militao. But you know, Militao's had 2 ACL injuries now, so it's not exactly his fault. Alaba had a fantastic debut season with us, coming in and replacing Ramos and Varane. He was very important in this Champions League win. But I've always just thought he's a great player, but I never really knew what his position was, because I don't think he's a world-class centre-back. He's not a world-class left-back. Maybe he was when he was younger at Bayern. I don't watch Bayern very much, so um, defensive midfielder for Switzerland. I've always just not been really sure where his best position is. And he's a great player to have in the squad because he can cover so many positions. But if I've got two specialised centre backs, then it's simple for me here: Hierro and Militao. I've not exactly sped this up, have I? And we're now getting to the hardest part of the pitch as well, so this could take a while. I'm going to try and speed it up. I mean, first of all, Luka Modric has to be in this team. I don't know what formation I'm going to play yet, but Luka Modric is there. He's the greatest midfielder, I think, in Madrid's history. I'm very aware of Gento. I actually made a video, if you did want to check it out, entitled the five greatest Real Madrid centre midfielders in history. And I put Luka Modric at number one. I guess that's a spoiler. It's not like anyone's going to watch it. But Luka Modric has to be in here. Then, now it gets interesting, because now we start to get into talent versus productivity versus chemistry. Obviously, Zidane is one of the most talented players that's ever lived, so I kind of want to get him into this team. I think he needs to be here, but of course, if we're going to introduce Zidane, then we do need balance. I don't want to just put the three most talented midfielders here would be Kroos, Modric, and Zidane. So I guess that could be the midfield three, but how balanced would that be if you then got a front three with Vinicius, Figo, Raul, Benzema? It seems a bit too galactical for me. So I'm going to put Makaleli in here because I think he gives the balance we need, which would then allow me to put Zidane in here. So then the debate we have is, do we put Zidane as part of the midfield three and play a 4-3-3? And this would allow us to play a 4-3-3, so you could have Vinicius on the left, Figo on the right, and then one of Raul or Benzema as a striker. However, you've then got the problem, of course, of choosing between Raul or Benzema, and that's got to be one of the hardest decisions you could ask for a Madrid fan, to choose between those two. I don't know how you separate those two. Or do you put Kroos in the midfield, and then you play a diamond, and you could have Zidane as a number 10. And now that I've seen that, that really does look like the way to go. I've just realised it's starting to go dark again, so let me turn the light on. Hopefully, there you go. Hopefully that's a bit easier for you. Yet again, I've spent way too much time talking to the camera. It feels bad to leave out Fede Valverde, I know, because behind Modric, I think he's probably the second most complete midfielder on this list. But Kroos is absolutely generational, and he can control a game like few other players have been able to do. And because all of these players, by the way, I'm assuming they're all in their prime. I'm not looking at their ages that they actually played these finals in. Obviously, Hierro and Benzema, they were coming towards the end of their career when they played these games, these finals specifically. So I'm forgetting all that. Pretend all these players are in their prime. I probably should have said that in the beginning. Yeah, Toni Kroos has to get in here above Fede, unfortunately, even though I love Fede. But we've already got Luka Modric, who can do all of the running. I mean, Luka Modric in his prime was basically Fede Valverde. I mean, he ran the game, he attacked, he defended, he done everything. So we don't need Fede Valverde's lungs. And we've got one of the best defensive midfielders of all time in the team. So defensively, I think we're going to be all right. So then, of course, this allows us to play both Raul and Benzema. Very happy that I don't have to choose between them. Just a little side note, I'm quite glad Stephen Manamum was on the bench for this game. He didn't start because he would be a difficult one to leave out. I love Stephen Manamum. I thought he was a fantastic player. But here we go. I'm quite happy with this, I have to say. There we have it then. We've built our team. I genuinely didn't know, but when I started recording this, what my 11 would be. So I've kind of figured it out as we've gone along. So I kind of like doing that. It feels more real, more authentic. So I appreciate anyone who's made it this far to the end of the video. I don't imagine there'll be that many of you. Thanks for any comments or anything that you leave. If you enjoy this video, I'll certainly make some more comparison videos in the future. And yeah, nos vemos pronto. Hasta luego, chicos.